Hey everyone, do you know Tony Kanal, Dumont and Adrian Young? I bet you're familiar with the music they made in No Doubt with Gwen Stefani. How about Davey, Havok, lead singer for AFI? You know him, right? Well, what do these four guys have in common? This month's Whiteboard sessions are for the self-titled debut by Dreamcar. On paper, this album seems the perfect subject for a Whiteboard session. Four seasoned musicians pay homage to the music of the 80s and the influential songs that they loved growing up. From the few singles I've heard, already I immediately get the 80s reference. And it seems ripe to get back to our original Whiteboard concept of, if you like these artists, then you might also enjoy this record. Or, conversely, if you already have this record, you might also enjoy the artists who influenced it. However, as it turns out, this album is probably the most polarizing album the PCTV staff has listened to all year. Personally, having lived through the 80s, a lot of this album sounded familiar. There are songs on the album where I think Davey Havok sounds just like Andy Bell from Erasure. There's another where I get a real Alison Moyet vibe. And I should know, because I just saw her when she played the Fonda here in LA. But I'm going to talk about one song in particular, and what this song reminds me of most is Martin Fry, F-R-Y, from the band ABC. Born to Lie is reminiscent of ABC's Poison Arrow and All of My Heart. Havok's delivery is very dramatic. Okay, it's melodramatic. But so is Martin Fry's. There's a bunch of bands from the 80s whose singers exemplify melodrama, including the aforementioned Andy Bell and Alison Moyet. On a side note, it's interesting that the Andy Bell and Alison Moyet songs are back-to-back on the album, as both having worked with Vince Clarke. Coincidence? I doubt it. Or is there no doubt about it being planned? Our own Ken agreed with me saying, the guitar riff is bouncy and the vocal harmonies make this my favorite cut. I like the competing vocals echoing and playing off one another. He also thought he heard a reference to Flock of Seagulls in there. Brett agreed with the Flock of Seagulls vibe, but also thought there was a little modern English thrown in. This could be a club song in the 80s retro space. It was also one of Jacob's favorite tracks on the album. New wave post-punk sound, easily one of the best. Hints of The Cure sprinkled throughout. Fozia, on the other hand, got a Depeche Mode feel. It's light, like having a lollipop. Interesting. Another Vince Clarke reference. I just can't get enough. However, others on the staff, who wanted to remain nameless, had trouble connecting with the song, and specifically the vocals. The dramatic style of delivery seemed forced or inauthentic to them. I, however, disagree. To me, this was fairly commonplace in a lot of 80s music, and I just get a feeling that a lot of this was meant to be tongue-in-cheek. That said, Davey Havok is mixed out front on the entire album, and I do wonder if he sat further back and more in line with the rest of the music, if the melodrama wouldn't be so obvious and such a sticking point for some of the staff. It's easy to feel that because he's so out front in the mix that he might seem a little too in your face for some. I might even agree on some of the other songs, but not this one. Like Brett said, it's mixed the best of all the songs on the album, and they keep the song simple. No overcrowding here. We'll check back next week for another edition of Power Chord TV's Whiteboard Sessions with Dreamcar.